to another special report. I am McCoy Dressman. We have for you tonight an extra special stock story edition on our fearless leader, Ronald Reagan, a man who we all deeply admire and respect. Reagan has been defending our nation against the evil empire of the Soviet Union and leading America in its effort to instill order in this dark, dark world. Under his leadership, America has been setting the moral standard with infallible credibility. Hold on a moment, folks. We have some breaking news. And now to Sierra and Tehran.
Thank you, McCoy. We have breaking news here in Iran. In spite of Congress's express prohibition against selling the weapons to the Iranian government, the Reagan administration sold arms to Iran, a country desperate for materials during its war with Iraq. Iran was to use its influence to help gain the release of Americans being held hostage in Lebanon. These excess profits diverted to fund the Reagan-favored Contras fighting the Sandinista government in Nicaragua. Now, we'll go to Madison with some coverage.
Thanks again, Sierra. We're live here in Nicaragua as we are uncovering this very, very messy scandal going on in Washington. We have recently found out where the Contras are getting their money to supply their rebellion against the Sandinista government. Now, reports have said that the Contras are getting their money from the Reagan administration, and they're getting this money through the American illegal trade with the Iranian government of selling arms to support their initiative against the Iraqis. This is extremely troubling news, and we have no clue how far this corruption goes within the Reagan administration. The perspective and view of our commander-in-chief will most likely change because of this. Back to McCoy.
This is disturbing news indeed. Although Reagan's track record is not as clear as I had hoped to report on, we can be sure that Reagan's economic policy, supply-side economics, is a triumph for the American people. We now go to Brittany, our domestic correspondent in Los Angeles.
Country clubs like this are rejoicing across America tonight with the 1986 tax reform. With the hopes of broadening the tax base and eliminating tax shelters, Reagan was hoping to apply the trickle-down effect, cutting corporate taxes from 48% to 34%, and the top families' taxes from 70% to 28%. Reagan has been known as saying, "Whenever we lower the taxes, our entire nation is better off." Coupling it with the laissez-faire economy, or supply-side economics, the deregulation of wages and prices, and reducing money supply, the hopes of economic expansion looked great. By using the increased revenue to offset the initial tax cuts, economic expansion was looking really good. Jesse Jackson, a civil rights activist and candidate for president, has been known as saying in his 1983 New York Times interview, "The federal deficit is very serious. It is undermining economic growth. Under this administration, the federal deficit is the largest it has been in the history of the country, in part because we're not generating enough tax revenue to keep us out of the deficit." In regards to the economic inequalities, he has also been known as saying, "When you empower the poor, they have self-determination, and they deal from the ability to protect themselves. So the poor, in that instance, do not need to be embellished. They need to be empowered."
This report has taken an unanticipated direction. Between the unconcealed and emerging Iran-Contra scandal and the resistance to Reaganomics by the disadvantaged Americans of our nation, all of this is incredibly shocking. We'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions, fellow Americans. Call our hotline at 1-800-555-USA1.